Welcome to the Qualified Tutor podcast. I'm your host, Ludo Miller, and I'll be interviewing tutors and thought leaders from across the tutoring landscape to inspire, inform, and motivate you to become the best tutor you can be. The Qualified Tutor community is a safe and supportive space for tutors who love to learn and grow. We offer training, resources, ideas, and a chance to connect with like-minded tutors. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our Qualified Tutor community at www.qualifiedtutorcommunity.org or find it in the show notes. Welcome to the Qualified Tutor podcast. Continuing a common theme on this show, today we'll be speaking to graduates of our most recent Qualified Tutor Tier 1 cohort. This was another incredibly engaging and inspiring group of tutors, principally from the agency of Manning's Tutors, who have brought such wonderful contributions and thoughts and new ideas to our content. Giving our participants the chance to voice their thoughts about the course, including what they've learned from it and how they've built their own tutoring from what we've taken. This insight always gives us incredible advice on how we should continue to progress and develop our course so that it continues to meet the demands and the needs of the tutoring industry right now. The flexibility of the QT team allows us to continue to adapt our course both to the participants that we have in that cohort and to the changing environment of tutoring. Listen in as our soon-to-be QT graduates teach you what you can learn from the qualification for tutors.
Every time we run a cohort of the qualification for tutors, it's slightly different because the people are different. And that's why we haven't recorded this course and delivered it as a static course. We want it to be live and we want you to bring your own personality and experience and questions to the table. So at this point, every 4 weeks, I have my highlight, which is to ask you to share with us what you've learned. And I try to sort of switch up the questions each time so that it makes it fun for you to discuss. But please understand that I'm going to go quiet now and I'm really, really going to let you have a discussion. So the prompt question that I'm going to ask you is, how has the 4-part course, the qualification for tutors, changed the way that you will tutor going forward?
So I've been working as a tutor since I was about 15, 16. And to this day, I always know I can learn something new. But this course has been really interesting in that it's more about it's not just about reflecting on what you're doing with the kid, for the kid, but it's also on what you do as a person each time and your own life experiences, evaluations, everything like that, sort of from the assessment process all the way to the end. So I'm kind of looking forward to the next new student and my old previous students to sort of see how I can change that and be more active in my own role in their development. Not just, I'm just here to help you for a short bit, but like I can actually do as much as I can possibly. It's kind of exciting. Even with COVID, we'll see how that goes, but that's pretty exciting.
Thank you. Thanks, Irene. Go ahead, Riani.
Hi, yes. So I think this course has just generally given me a lot more confidence when going into a classroom setting or a one-on-one setting. And it's also reinforced that I actually do have the skills to teach my students and that I just need that extra confidence boost and just, I really like the thermostat analogy that you used, I think it was, where it said we had to adjust how we come in and adjust it to our student, and that really resonated with me. I really like that.
It's one of my favorites also. Go ahead, Edward.
Okay, so I think the good stuff moving forward that I've taken on, main thing is that as a tutor, you're not just someone to get them to the exam. You are someone who is a team player and is there to help them see from today. I would take a life without limits. So an education allows you to have a life without limits. I really like that. I think that's beautiful. And sort of, I think it's helped me get a little bit better with sort of what to do and what not to do around mental health, because I've always found that a little bit difficult, because, it's realizing you're there to help, but you're also not a therapist, and just that person who can signpost them, be a sort of guide, but not sort of a friend, although that sounds a bit harsh, but be like a key player, an instrumental part of their education, but at the same time, having that disciplined approach to getting to the end result. And that life is a continuous learning process, and letting them know that for the love of learning. Thank you.
It's a real balancing act, isn't it? And it ties right back to what Riani's saying about being a thermostat and taking the role of the trusted adult and continuing to get that balance right. Thanks so much, Edward. Nada, go ahead.
Yeah, so this course I think has really taught me how I can adapt and tailor each lesson to help specific students get to their goals. And I think sort of it's focused on the key things that help the student get from A to B, being able to boost their confidence, being able to create that culture of learning. It all contributes to that student achieving their fullest potential, getting the results that they really truly can achieve and not just limiting themselves to what a piece of paper says.
It's sort of that sort of uncovering of their true potential, isn't it? That you're just helping them to remove all those barriers so that they can get stuck in. Mo, go ahead.
I think one of the things that I found the most interesting and kind of the most important is creating that culture of learning, being able to encourage not just learning because you want to pass an exam, but learning because you enjoy knowing new things and being able to have those skills in the future to, maybe it's just finding a love of reading or a love of doing a certain topic, just having that love of the culture of learning rather than just, okay, I'm learning because I need a GCSE.
That's right. And you're teaching them to fish that way, aren't you? You're creating independent, lifelong learners. It's fantastic, Mo. Thanks so much. Go ahead, Manasvini.
Another, in addition to everything everyone else has said, another thing I've learned is having confidence, because since you are the trusted adult in their life trying to guide them, it's important to not second guess yourself. You have to be the rock for them, supporting them. And all the tools that we've discussed over the 4 weeks have helped me build that confidence in my ability to tutor. So when I walk in to a lesson, I probably won't be second guessing my abilities, which makes it much easier to teach them.
That's right. And then that responsive approach means that you can be really, really reliable, but you don't have to stick to one way of doing things. It's the difference between being persistent and being predictable. But Baessa, can I call on you?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of just like making sure you have the sort of right mindset going into it, basically. Because if you just, I've seen a few tutors going like, oh God, it's another tutoring lesson at the school, basically. Then the whole lesson sort of kicks off on the wrong foot, in my opinion. So this lesson just reinforced the knowledge which I sort of accumulated through my experience of basic going in with the right mindset, being supportive, and also developing that trusting relationship with the students. So you can basically teach them better and they can be more open to you about their issues and whatnot, basically.
I really love that it reassured and reinforced the things that you'd already discovered. I think that's what professional development's for, is that it finds where you are and all the skills that you have, and then you're sort of more aware of them, and so you're using them with more intention next time. I really think that's a really powerful thing to have added. So fantastic. Pavlina, go ahead.
So I really love everything that everyone said, and I really can relate to that. One bonus thing that I didn't even expect to enjoy so much coming into this course was actually talking to other tutors. So especially tutoring online, I often miss that, like, kind of, if you go into your office, you always have your coworkers, if you tutor, you don't really get to talk to the tutors all that often. At least I don't. So I've actually loved like talking to other tutors, even in the breakouts or like generally, and just hearing their experiences, their approach, and all of that. So yeah, I didn't even expect to be so grateful for that.
And now, a brief word from our founder, Julia Silva.
If you'd like to hear more about the ideas we touch on here, or gain the tools to take your own tutoring to the next level, the qualification for tutors could be for you. This live online seminar is facilitated by industry experts who, over 4 Zoom workshops, will cover the foundations of teaching and learning and how it relates to you as a tutor. The workshops are full of rich discussions where you'll learn alongside other tutors and connect on a professional level. We will teach you how to be the kind of tutor every child remembers. Visit our community space at qualifiedtutorcommunity.org and sign up now for our transformative course. We'll see you there. That's fantastic, Pavlina. I'm so glad that made a difference for you, because I've always felt that tutoring can be lonely. And when I first started out as a tutor, I used to suffer from imposter syndrome. I really didn't know if I was doing it right. And I used to sort of build accountability systems in by talking to the parents. And to be honest, the parents didn't really want to hear about every drop of what I'd done in that tutoring session with their students. So really, it's only tutors that want to talk about tutoring all day. So that's what the community is going to be there for you going forward. Please make use of it. Victoria, go ahead.
I think what I really enjoyed about this is that sometimes things can seem, because as well, a lot of us are a lot younger and closer to education, almost a bit commonsensical. But then I think this course has really helped me to articulate what I'm doing right and where you can kind of change things. And even whenever you know you're doing something right, sometimes you can't put a finger on what's good about it and what's bad about it. And I think I've really enjoyed that aspect of it, like breaking things down into smaller sections.
Can we take that a little bit further and make that, if we think about the small steps that we discussed in the learning loop, and how by breaking things up into small steps for your students, they can find out how much they already know.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, really enforced, I think I said last week, being able to show students different ways of doing things. And I think I said before with the trust kind of point, if you can show the student that you believe that they can do stuff, it will help them as well to kind of believe in themselves to do those things. I think it's just been a really informative few weeks.
That's fantastic. I'm really, really pleased. Thank you so much. Eleanor, Ashley, I haven't heard from you yet. Go ahead, Eleanor.
Yeah, I think everyone's made some really excellent points. I've learned a great deal kind of through the process, kind of specifically this week. I think linking up the idea of the culture of learning with making sure that students feel comfortable if they do have problems with their mental health, they feel comfortable kind of communicating those with you as a tutor, and you can kind of signpost those them to the particular people that can really support them. But one particular thing that I think I've definitely going to take to my lessons going forward is the idea of kind of making sure that the student knows the routines of the lesson, and so they feel really comfortable kind of coming to the lessons going forward, because they know they don't have any anxiety about kind of unexpected things that might come up. So that's a really useful take home. But on the whole, it's been a really valuable experience.
Just a sort of openness that you create, where they're able to bring all their questions and their opinions and their anxiety, and you just create a safe space within which for them to work. It takes us right back to the 7 Ps, doesn't it? Where you create that safe environment within which they can ask the questions that they need to ask to get the answers that they need to sort of fill in those gaps and misconceptions. Charlotte, go ahead.
Hi, I think because of COVID, I wasn't able to start tutoring. So doing this course has really given me the confidence, and like hearing how other tutors approach things has been really inspiring as well to get me set up, and like learning that flexibility is like the key thing in being a tutor. So it's really prepared me to hopefully go on and tutor.
It's fantastic. You know, again, that's the thing about professional development, is that you can pick it up wherever you are. If you're right at the beginning. You know, we had tutors on our previous cohort with decades of experience who were still able to take what they needed to hear, because it's so much about uncovering what you already know. So, Riani, you had a story to finish us off with.
Yes, so I wanted to just reiterate the story that I told earlier, and building off of Eleanor's mention of the mental health, and earlier in the session we talked about dyslexia, and I was teaching this girl with dyslexia, and she would get really overwhelmed because I teach English, so it involves a lot of reading. And sometimes I could tell that it was just too much for her. She was getting overwhelmed, and her responses weren't as in-depth. Like, she would just trail off and say, yeah, or mm-hmm. And picking up on that is really important. And I think this course has taught me more skills in being sensitive to that, you know, like the analogy that we talked about, being the thermostat. And, you know, just taking breaks as well, you know, measuring, being that thermostat, and kind of picking up, when are we going to take a break? When should we push through? And I would always ask her, would you like to take a break? Would you like to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and letting her take that initiative and say, okay, I need 5 minutes, or I need 15 minutes, and kind of taking her education in her own hands. And through that, you know, just giving her a safe space, like we said, creating a culture of learning. She once opened up to me, and we were working on essay writing and creative essay writing. And because of her dyslexia, it's quite difficult for her, but we were bouncing ideas off of each other. And she said, oh, maybe I'll become a writer one day.
I think that's fantastic, because it sort of pulls together everything we've been speaking about, because by having the flexibility to give the student what she needs rather than just bulldozing her with your lesson plan, you've actually been really, really productive with the time. And by giving her the agency, you've shown her how much you respect her and her needs. So instead of sort of, you know, having a route and going from A to B, you've allowed yourself to plot a course that's going to suit your student and her needs. And that bespoke approach to learning that we've discussed today has been a really, really influential idea for me, because we spoke about how education needs to be different for children going forward. Well, having this sort of open-minded approach to how things should be done is going to be a key piece in that. So with that, we're going to wrap up this podcast, and I'm going to thank you so much for your contributions. Please continue to learn with us, because we really, really exist just to add value for you. Also, you know that we've got agencies on the site, so communicate with them, network, grab opportunities to tutor, and let us know how things are going. Have a stunning week, and it was really, really lovely to learn with you today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all so much. It was great to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Qualified Tutor podcast, where tutors share their expertise to support the tutoring community. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our Qualified Tutor community at www.qualifiedtutorcommunity.org, or find it in the show notes below. We exist to connect, share, and learn with you, because tutoring is a small job that makes a big difference.